Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our second Biz'ee chat. Today I am joined by the lovely Claire Jones of CJ Bookkeeping. Her business, as the name suggests, Claire's a bookkeeper. She covers also VAT and payroll services as well, and is based in Clacton in Essex. She does have clients, though, on a national scale. So depending on what you do, don't feel that Claire's based in one place and she can't help you. She probably can. So I will put Claire's email address on the screen later on in the Biz'ee chat. So you'll be able to note that down and obviously contact Claire after the meeting. If you have any questions at all throughout the session, please do drop them in the comments. Hopefully they'll pop up on our screen and we'll be able to answer any questions as we go along. So welcome, Claire. Thank you for joining me today.
It's great to be here.
Lovely. So when did you start your business, Claire? Tell us a bit about it.
Okay, I started back in September 2012. And then I promptly found out I was pregnant. So that was a bit of a, I won't say a spanner in the works. That makes it sound like it was a bad thing, but it wasn't what I was planning. So it's been essentially, the reason that I started my business was to work around the children. Mm-hmm. The two that I had before I got pregnant. So it's very much been just kind of the last few years, it's just been kind of working around the children. But now as they're getting older, I've got more time. So, I'm looking to expand.
Fabulous. So what made you choose your line of business? Have you been doing bookkeeping long term and it's just something that you wanted to go solo with, or?
Well, back in the dark ages, as my children like to say, when I first went into the world of work, I was working for a bank. In fact, the majority of my career before I started my own business was working for two banks. And that was 9 years of my time. So I had a good understanding of the financials, and it was something that I just found that I had a natural skill for, and I actually quite liked, which I know is very unusual because nobody likes doing their accounts, but I do. So it was kind of just a natural progression, really. I did do a bookkeeping course back in 2002, after I'd got married to my first husband. I did a course because I was planning to have children, and I thought, right, what can I do from home? What can I do to work around them? And for one reason or another, I finished the course, but I never took the exams. Just I had a bit of a crisis of confidence and other things were going on, but that's another story. So I kind of had the knowledge there. And then in 2011, I was working full time. I had two young children. I just, it was like I was on a hamster wheel, and I thought, I just need to stop. I just need to do something that can work around them, because it's just, and I wasn't getting to see them. I was putting them in childcare and then going off to work and then getting home, and I was really tired and something had to give. So I thought, right, what should I do? I'm bookkeeping, I'm good at it. It can fit around the children. It was just the perfect solution.
So what would you say is your unique selling point? So what makes you different from other bookkeepers?
I would say it's me, really. It's just, it's me. Because there are a lot of people that do what I do, and a lot of, all of them are really, really good at what they do. So I think it's just the fact that I like to make people feel at ease. I don't talk down to them, because the only difference between a bookkeeper and another business owner is that a bookkeeper has done the training. They understand, they've done, years of qualifications and experience. So it's not a case of, if you don't know what you're doing in terms of bookkeeping, you shouldn't be made to feel stupid. Because, for example, there's a lot of things that I need to do in my business that I don't know how to do, and I'd hate to feel that if I approached someone to help me with that, that they would make me feel stupid for not knowing that, you know what I mean? So I try and
Yes.
apply that when I'm working with clients. You know, I really help them, you know. And throughout my life, when I was growing up, we didn't have a lot of money, and so I kind of know what it's like and how important it is to really get a grasp of your money and really know what's going out, what's coming in, you know. So I know how important it is for business to have good bookkeeping, good records. So I like to put people at their ease and make them feel more confident, you know, because we all know money's a nightmare. It can give you sleepless nights. You know, I want to get away from that. I want to help as many people as possible. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's always good in business, obviously, to know your cash flow, to see where things are going, where they're not going, where you can adjust things and everything. So, yeah, it's
Yeah, and I
definitely.
think there's always been this, I don't know, this myth that bookkeepers and accountants are really scary, stuffy people that are really unapproachable, and I just want to break that myth.
So, what do you like best about your work?
Again, it just goes back to helping people. When I first started out in banking, I was in customer service, so I've always had that customer service background, and I've always enjoyed it. And it's just, like I said, putting people at their ease, making them feel confident with their money. Um, you know, and it's great when I've worked with a client and they've really got their bookkeeping in order, and then that allows them to grow their business and really pursue what they want to do, you know, follow their dreams. And it's just, you know, I'm like, yeah, I help them do that. It's a really, really good feeling.
Cool. So, you've told us what you like best about it, but is there anything which you really don't like about your work?
Um, I think it's when people come to me and they've left it and left it and left it. Um,
So you get
and
bags of.
they're in a right pickle. Because I mean, obviously that's going to take up a lot of my time and a lot of my skills. So I do end up having to charge them quite a lot, which makes me feel bad because I say it's not their fault. It's a lot of people have this block around money, and a lot of people just kind of stick their head in the sand, and you know, and it's it makes me feel bad, and it makes me feel bad for them as well on a personal level, because they've obviously been sitting with this problem for ages and ages and ages, and kind of it's been stressing them out for months, years in some cases. And like I said earlier, money gives people sleepless nights. It's, you know, it's not a nice feeling to not know what's going on with your money. So when I see people that are really struggling, it just makes me feel really, really sorry for them. You know, and it's the wasted time as well. They've been plodding along for I don't know how long and really not making the most of their money. Sometimes they're even undercharging, and that's why they're kind of, yeah, they're in a real mess. So it's not nice when you see that.
No.
So that's something I'm trying to change.
So obviously you've said people might come to you with lots and lots of bags of
Yeah,
receipts or anything.
yeah,
What do you think their feeling is when they've handed it over to you? Do you feel that sense of you've helped them accomplish something and you've taken a weight off their shoulders? I'm
definitely,
hearing lots of people
definitely,
come to you and say, "Oh, you've just helped me so much and you've really lifted a
definitely.
weight." So,
Yeah, one of my clients I've worked with in the past, she actually said having Claire is like having a therapist, because I used to work with her on an ad hoc basis, and she'd do her own bookkeeping. Then once in a while, I'd go in and I'd just say, right, okay, yeah, that's fine, but to improve things, you could do that. And then she said, by the time you leave, it's like I've had a therapy session. The weight has been lifted. So yeah,
so it can
that's
be
what
quite therapeutic.
I do.
So, in terms of your own business, what has been your biggest challenge, would you say?
It's, I would say, um, saying no to people. I think there's this big, um, again, a myth. All these myths around starting businesses and being a business owner, that you have to say yes to everyone. And I did find myself at one point, bearing in mind that I'd started my business to work around my children, I found I'd taken on so much that I was not spending time with them, and it had grown so big that I was just back where I started essentially. So now I'm really conscious of not taking on too much, because not only am I letting myself down, but I've got the potential to let the client down. If I take on something and I haven't got the time to do it, I'm letting them down. I'm not giving them the solution that they want. So yeah, I'm very, very careful to say no when I need to now.
Yeah, it's very important in business, isn't it, to set boundaries,
It
not
is.
just for yourself, because obviously we all go in it for different reasons, being self-employed. But most people, or most women in the group would say they've done it to fit around their children, things like
Yeah,
that. When it just takes over your life and you're saying,
yeah,
oh, I can't play with you now, or I can't do this with you now, it defeats the
exactly.
object of starting the business. And like you said, you can't then give back to the client what you should be
Yeah,
giving to them.
yeah,
So it has a knock-on effect, and setting those boundaries as early as possible in business really does help, not in terms of just how much the volume you're taking on, but even the hours you're working. Make sure everyone knows, right, these are my working hours. If
yeah,
you don't hear from me, it's because it's the weekend. Come on, I'm human
yeah,
as well. I need time off. So,
yeah.
okay. So, what has been your biggest achievement in your business?
Um, that was, yeah, that's a struggle to pick one thing. Um, because I like to think that I'm achieving all the time. But there was one client that I've got, and their payroll was, it was 50 plus people. It fluctuated at different times of the year because they're a seasonal business. But their payroll used to take about 3 days to do. From actually starting putting the hours in, to processing the payment, to actually then getting the entries into their bookkeeping software. So yes, I thought this is not, surely this must be, there must be a better way. And I actually got it down to being done in one day. So I feel that that's quite quite a big achievement, and they were very pleased, as you can imagine.
Definitely. And I dare say they've recommended you on to others as a result as well.
Yes.
So that's absolutely brilliant. Well done. So what would you say your average business day comprises of? Obviously, get rid of the kids. That sounds a bit horrible.
Yeah.
Take them to school, drop them off, and then you come back. What's your average day look like?
I check my emails just to see, if there's anything urgent that I need to attend to. I tend to have set days, scheduled days where I deal with different clients. But obviously, if something urgent comes up, then I have to prioritise that. But then it's just checking emails, returning phone calls, and then just getting down to to getting those books done. I'm always on the lookout for easier ways to do things. So as well as spending time actually doing the bookkeeping for people or helping them to do their bookkeeping, because I do offer that as a service as well. I like to also devote some of my day to actually researching software and things that can be great time savers. We're so lucky nowadays. There's always new products that are coming onto the market that can make life so much easier. So I like to make sure that I'm up to date with them. I'm signed up to every update from HMRC, so I tend to get quite a few of them a day, not always relating to accounting and bookkeeping, especially since the coronavirus has happened. So, I'm weeding through them, reading any that I need to and deleting any that I don't. So, yeah, my days are always full.
So in terms of your bookkeeping, you mentioned software that you use. What programs would you is it necessary for your clients to know how to use these programs, or is it just something that you take all their content, and how does it actually work that way?
Some of my clients, they do actually want to do bookkeeping themselves. So what my advice would be to them is most of the major software providers have free trials of their software, 30-day trials. So I say to them, right, you need to have a look, have a play around, see which one you think you will get on best with. And then once you've decided that, we can get you up and running. I have to say my favourite is Xero. I'm a big champion of Xero, but other software providers are available.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really does. What one person finds easy to use, another person might not get on with. So it's really important that if a client is going to be using it themselves, that they choose one that they are happy with. You know, and once they've chosen it, we can get them up and running. I can show them how to use it. Yeah, and if they're not going to be actively using it, I will still ask them to have a play around with the different softwares, because it might be that in the future they decide that actually they do want to know, they do want to go on and pull off reports just to see how their business is doing. And because there's so many different things you can do with reporting. You know, you can see which is your best product, which is, if you've got different departments in your business, which department is making profit and which is not. You know, there's so many things you can do. But like I say, I have got my preference, and you know, but I don't ever steer people towards that. I just say, well, this is what I use, but you know, you might not find it very user friendly.
Cool. So where does most of your business come from? Is it from networking, word of mouth? How does
most of it is referrals and networking. I do have the odd occasional just email out of the blue, but I really think that the best way is to get out there, network, talk to people, not necessarily in a networking meeting, but just, you know, having a one-to-one with them and just seeing how you can help them. So yeah, most of my business is referrals, because I think you have to have that know, like and trust factor. So it's very rare that somebody will just approach me without having met me first, because it is really important, especially in the service industry, that if you're going to engage someone for bookkeeping or for whatever, you know, marketing, that you get along with them and that you know that they're kind of on your wavelength, if you know, for want of a better word.
So who would you say your best customer is? What's your ideal client, the one that you see them approaching, you think, oh yes, I've got another one of those? I mean, I'm sure all your clients are lovely, but is there one particular type of client that you really are after?
I think it's the ones that they've kind of got an idea of what they want, because in bookkeeping it's kind of a case of, right, where is the client at the moment and where do they want to be? So it's those that have got an idea of a vague idea of where they are. Perhaps they're not completely clear, but they definitely know where they want to be. And it's people that are kind of willing to work with me and engage with me and give me ideas. Because I have had clients in the past where I've said, okay, what do you want me to do? Well, I'm not too sure. Okay, right, well, I'll do this. And, you know, we can see how, and then they turn around and say, well, that wasn't what I wanted at all.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't tell me what you wanted. And I mean, genuinely, people sometimes aren't quite sure, you know, about bookkeeping, about what they should and shouldn't be doing. But people that have got a clear vision and people that actually will engage with me and actually work with me rather than just expecting me to do the work for them, if that makes sense. Because when I'm asking for certain information that I need them to understand why I need it and why I need it ASAP. You know, yeah. So I think it's because it is important that people understand their numbers, whether or not they're just getting a people to do all their accounting for them. Ultimately, they need to understand those numbers that are coming out on the profit and loss at the end of the month or the end of the quarter, end of the year, however often they look. It's, in my opinion, it's no good just looking at the numbers and going, oh, I've made a profit, or oh, I've made a loss. Because if you want to take your business further, you need to be able to know what those numbers mean in terms of, can I afford to take on a staff member? Can I afford to rent, you know, if you're working from home, can I afford to rent office space or factory space or whatever? So, yeah, I like people that are kind of proactive and know what they want.
So if I was to be at a networking group or somewhere else, and I overheard someone saying, "Oh, I've got loads of receipts and I don't know what to do, and I'm struggling with my bookkeeping." What should I be listening out for to think, "Oh, hang on a minute, Claire can help"?
Um, that's a difficult one, really, because it's only usually when I sit and have a conversation with someone that I actually find out what it is that they actually need. I mean, I'm willing to help anyone, really, but I do need, like I said, I do need to have that kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? No, not cooperate. Well, yeah, I suppose it is cooperation, because, you know, if I say, right, I need this information, I need them to give it to me. It's not just a case of, okay, I've got a load of receipts, I'm just going to throw them at Claire and just see what she can do with them. Someone that is maybe looking to really grow their business, they're in a bit of a pickle, and they're thinking, I don't know what my numbers are, but I need to know, because, you know, and another thing is, some people, they are actually making lots of money without actually realizing it, and then they end up with a hefty tax bill at the end of the year. That's another thing. So I say it's really, really difficult to kind of pick up on things that would make me think, oh, that person's an ideal client of mine, because I've spoken to people before, and I thought, oh, this is not going to work out, we're not going to work well together, and it's actually turned out to be the best working relationship I've ever had. So it's a case of, you know, after that initial contact, me sitting down with them and saying, right, okay, what do you need, where are you, where do you want to be, that sort of thing.
Cool. So in terms of marketing and how you market your business, where do you actually promote yourself? How do you promote yourself? Is there things that you've used which have worked really well? Is there things that haven't worked so well? Do you do any marketing at all, or is it all through word of mouth?
No, I have done marketing. In the beginning, when I was very green and wasn't quite sure what I was doing, I did a lot of adverts in magazines and local papers, local public, and that didn't work at all. I use social media, but I probably don't use it very well. And over the last year, obviously, everyone's been using social media, so it's really, really hard to be seen. I tend to, when I'm using social media, because obviously people need to see the person behind the business, I tend to be a bit too much, hey, this is me, this is what I'm about, rather than promoting what I can do in my business. So yeah, I'm a bit of a disaster with that. Networking, I find really well, because, like I said, you've got to have that know, like, and trust factor. when you want to engage someone to work with you. So I find that is the best way, because you really can get your personality out there. You can make connections with people, and it's about it's not about what other people can do for you. It's about what. No, I said that wrong. It's not what business people can put your way. It's also about what business you can put their way as well. So what you find more often than not when you're networking is you go and you think, okay, this is a chance to get me out there and, you know, really show people who I am. But then you end up coming away actually gaining things that you didn't know that you needed to gain, you know. So that by far is the best method of marketing that I've actually used. Networking, I can't recommend it enough.
So have you, when you've been networking, so have you actually considered things like collaboration with other businesses? So obviously you're a bookkeeper. I'm assuming you don't do accounting, or you do that?
No,
Right. So
no,
I'm assuming,
I'm not qualified to do any accounting at the moment. Maybe maybe in a few
who
years.
knows?
Watch
Yeah.
watch this space. Yeah, I mean, certainly I look to speak to accountants, because a few that I've spoken to have said that they are always looking for people, for bookkeepers to you know, pass on to their clients. You know, if they're at capacity with their bookkeeping, um, they look for bookkeepers to pass work on to. And also, I'm always looking to speak to accountants, because it works the other way. If I've got a client and they're a sole trader, and then all of a sudden they get so big that they could benefit from being a limited company, then I always like to know the names of good accountants that I can then refer on. So it works both ways. As for other businesses, I never really know how I could. This is something that I need to look into more. How I could collaborate with other businesses. I'm sure there are ways, but I really need to get my thinking cap on to see how I could help other businesses and how they could help me. But I've been having a lot of discussions recently with various people, financial coaches, and I'm looking to set up advisor. So that's looking quite promising. But yeah, I mean, if anyone thinks that they could collaborate with me in any way, I'm always happy to have a chat.
And on that note, I will put Claire's email address on the screen. So if anyone does want to contact Claire regarding either bookkeeping, or you fancy collaborating with Claire and you've had a really good idea of how you could collaborate, then do drop her an email. It's info@cjbook-keeping.co.uk. And as I say, it's on the screens for you to jot it down and obviously contact Claire. So how do you plan to grow your business moving forwards? Now we're coming out of COVID as well, particularly, hopefully.
Yeah.
How do you plan to grow your business and take it to the next level?
Well, I'm at the moment, I've got I've got enough work for myself to do, but I'm always having new inquiries, and it is getting to the point where potentially I could need to take someone on. So, you know, I would like to do that, because not only is it going to help my business grow, but it will give someone a job, which at the moment, you know, people are struggling. There's so many people that have lost jobs, and I'm sure that there's so many people out there that could, you know, give me some help with, you know, just admin, you know, even just sorting my diary out or other things. So that's something that I'm looking to do. Also, I think I probably mentioned earlier that there are some people that they don't want a bookkeeper. They're just starting out, don't want a bookkeeper because they feel they can do it on their own, or they don't feel they can afford a bookkeeper. But it is important that they start on the right foot and they get their accounts, I won't say perfect, perfect, because there's no such thing as perfect, but you know, they get a good basis for their accounting from the start. So what I'm looking to do is actually put together some courses that people can do. They'll probably be online courses, so they can do them at their own leisure, just to help them get their bookkeeping set up, give them tips on how to, you know, do's and don'ts, how to do their bookkeeping, how to do it as efficiently as possible so they're not wasting time, because nobody likes wasting time doing their accounts. They'd rather be out, you know, in the sunshine, hopefully sunshine that we're going to have at some point. Yeah, so that's something that I'm looking to do as well, because like I keep saying, I know I keep repeating myself, but I am trying to get as many people as possible confident with doing their accounts, so that is one less thing that they have to worry about in their business, you know, and that they can grow their business and really, really follow their dream.
So if you could just give one piece of advice to someone starting their business, which I think you've just really done, what would it actually be? Is it in terms of bookkeeping, I assume, or is there something else which you think, oh, when I was starting up in business, I didn't do this quite right and I wish I'd done it?
Yeah, I mean, certainly get your bookkeeping set up even before you start. Have an idea of what you need to do, and how you're going to do it. Yeah, that is vital. That, because it saves you a lot of headache later. Also, don't undercharge. Really, really know your worth. Don't try and compete on price with anybody, because, you know, just because someone's charging less than you, it doesn't mean that they've got a successful business. Chances are that they've tried to undercut somebody just so they can get the business. And, you know, really, really know your worth and charge accordingly, because otherwise you don't make any profit and you actually feel rubbish. You actually feel undervalued. Is there any other? There was one other thing that just came into my head, and it's it's gone out again. No, it's gone. It's gone.
That's all right. You can always add it into the comments afterwards if you think of it. So if there was one thing that you'd like viewers to take away today and remember you by, what would it be?
Hopefully I've got across that I am approachable, and I'm a business owner just like everybody else. I'm not special because I'm a bookkeeper. I'm not, you know, like I said earlier, people tend to see bookkeepers, accountants as being like these people that are on a high pedestal and can't be approached, and, you know, will laugh at you if you ask a question that they think is stupid. The only difference between, I think I said this earlier as well, I keep repeating myself, the only difference between me and another business owner is that I've done the training, and I've, you know, and I keep up to date with things. That's the only thing that qualifies me as a bookkeeper. I'm just like everybody else. I have the same struggles as everybody else in business, and just don't be afraid to ask for help. And that doesn't just go for bookkeeping, it goes for anything really. Anything in your business that you need help with, don't be afraid to ask for it, and don't think that people are going to be unapproachable, because they won't. You know, they're looking to help you as much as you want to help. Because if you struggle on for too long, then that's a lot of time that you've wasted, you know, a lot of time where you could have been growing your business and you've actually just been stagnant.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so is there anything else you'd like to add before we close the session, Claire?
No, I think I've rabbited on for long enough.
It was very, very nice to chat to you, and I certainly do know a bit more about your business and how you, and I'd love to maybe arrange a one-to-one. And obviously, if anyone else would like to arrange a one-to-one with Claire, please do contact her. I've popped the email address back up on the screen. If you have any comments and you are watching on replay, please do comment on there. Claire will be able to see them. She's in the Facebook group. And obviously, if there's anything on YouTube as well, I'll make sure Claire sees it if she doesn't see it as well. So don't be shy. If there's something you want to ask, either publicly on the group or privately, you can email Claire and she'll be able to help. So thank you very much, Claire, for joining us today. It was lovely to have you on our Biz'ee chat.
Thank you for having me.
And I look forward to hopefully seeing you at one of our networking meetings soon, where you'll be able to obviously network with even more ladies.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Thank you for watching, everyone. And our next Biz'ee chat is next Tuesday, when we're joined by the lovely Coral Byford of Health and Wellness by Coral. That's at 11 o'clock on Tuesday, straight after the bank holiday. So something to look forward to. Hopefully the sun will come out at some point and you all have a fabulous bank holiday weekend. Thank you very much, ladies.